My mom came from a very poor family, and I use the word family loosely because her mother was involved with many men in the town, and kind of was a little bit infamous for her relations and how she got her money and how she supported my mother and her other sister. I got to learn a lot about my grandmother and her involvement in the Salvation Army, and it really showed me God's plan and how big it was and how it transcends generations, and how the grace that he has for me in my life started a long time ago. The Army saw this life of really growing up with a prostitute and wanted to get my mother out of it. So they reached out to her and they got her involved in kids programs, and she did timbrels and sunbeams and kind of the traditional Salvation Army stuff. And they just loved on her, and they started inviting my grandmother to watch her daughter perform and watch her daughter present all the things that she's been learning about God and the skills that the Army had been teaching her. My grandmother started to attend the Corps, and just for the sake of seeing her daughter perform. But after some time, she started getting more into the Corps programs, and her interest started getting piqued a little bit. And after attending a bunch of the Corps stuff, she gave her life to Christ. It's difficult for me when I think about some of the avenues that my life could have gone down, that God protected me from and God guided me through. In college, I got into my very first relationship. And unfortunately for me, it was with someone that was very ungodly. I met them at a Bible study, and I thought everything was good and dandy. I was subjected to sexual and physical assault on multiple occasions by him and his family. It was a situation that I didn't think I could get out of, and I didn't think that God had enough grace to give me to get out of. I thought that any future that God had for me was gone, because I was trapped in this relationship, and I was trapped in this world, this cycle of abuse that I'd seen time and time again through generation and generation. And God got me through the whole court process and the police proceedings that followed that, and it was a very scary and very hard time in my life. For the first 3 years of my 4 years at university, I was stuck in those chains and stuck in that relationship and that nightmare of darkness and of oppression and of abuse. So my last year at college, when I was finally freed of it, I really seized the opportunity for ministry and seized the opportunity to try to find other people at my college that were going through the same things. And so in my college ministry team, we had this one girl that was attending, and I could just see the hints of darkness and the hints of pain in her eyes that I had oh so recently gone through myself. So I remember reaching out to her one day, and she just broke down, and she didn't understand why I could see that in her life, or why I was reaching out and talking to her. She was nervous, like, why are you talking to me? I kind of just laid it on her straight, saying, I think this is going on, and I'm not saying this and to judge you or something. I'm saying this because that was my life. That was my life a few months ago. I remember bringing her to the police station to file a restraining order. I didn't really have anyone with me for that time, but being able to minister with her and to be sitting in a police station holding her hand and praying with her, saying, God, you have this situation. You can break every chain that binds us. That really brought everything full circle for me. Just that story of my grandmother and my mother, God said, I'm faithful. I was faithful for their generations. I'm faithful to you. I was faithful for Abraham. I was faithful for Moses and for Aaron. Trust me with this. And I trusted him with that. And he got my life through it, and he's turned it around, and he's given me that compassion for ministry for people. And now I'm called to be an officer. I'm an accepted candidate. And through one woman that was stuck in prostitution and a child that was stuck in poverty and abuse, God worked through all the generations to bring me to the Salvation Army, to bring me to be a minister of grace. And actually, my name Hannah means grace, and I'm one of the heralds of grace. That's my session name. And it just blows my mind when I think that all those years ago that God saw that situation and saw where it would lead, which is my grandmother's influence on not just my life, but many people's lives.